anxiety. Okay. So yeah, this is my YouTube channel. I've been doing this so long that I also amassed a pretty large collection. So this is just a portion of my Ocarina collection. These are all from the late 1800s. This particular set. The rest of these are from more modern times, and there's at least 300 ocarinas in this case. This isn't even all of them, but I decided a couple years ago that since these are all just kind of sitting around collecting dust, that I wanted to do something to kind of collect this information about ocarinas. So if you've ever Googled ocarinas, the information's all over the place, and I'm very passionate about this. So I did a Kickstarter project to create a photo book of my entire collection. And this is basically like a dissertation for a PhD, the level of work that I had to do to make this as accurate as possible. So what you're seeing here are all of the ocarina makers in my collection since the 1850s. And if you look at the top, this is kind of where they came from, which we're going to do a quick walkthrough. I have a bunch of ocarinas up here of basically like all of the main parts of the timeline. It's not the Zelda timeline, but the Ocarina timeline. So this is where they kind of originated in Mesoamerica. They made their way through Europe, and then eventually to the United States, and then Asia. So these are the older makers. They're either not alive or retired, but we're gonna walk through most of these. Again, if you want to learn more about this book, it's got a ton of information, everything you want to learn. You can scan the QR code, you can DM me, or shoot me an email, or just follow me on my social, and I'll get you all the information that you need. I also have a newsletter too, so I can keep you updated that way. I'll give you 10 seconds to take a picture. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. But enough about me. So what is an ocarina? It's got a couple different classifications. So one is a type of vessel, or a vessel flute, or they're also known as globular flutes, or Helmholtz resonator is the more technical term. I'll let you Wikipedia what that means. The modern ocarina is any vessel flute that's directly inspired by the Italian 10-hole ocarina, and we'll talk about that more in a second. So what you might see like these, like the more indigenous, like Mexican or Peruvian type of flutes, these are technically not ocarinas. What is an ocarina is anything that has this shape, or it's more closely associated with this shape, this round one here. And we're just going to talk about all the different parts that are a part of that in a second too. They're made of a variety of different materials. You have like clay, wood, plastics, metal. I have one that's aluminum up here. I have a bunch of wooden ones, but the most common material you're going to find is ceramic or clay. And then they just come in a variety of different sizes, from extremely small, like the one Roxy's going to demo for you here. Less is about the size of a quarter. She does not need a microphone for this. So the smaller they are, the higher the pitch.
The holes are so tiny.
All of this. So that's the tiniest one that we have. So this is one of the largest ones that I have. I actually have one that's about the size of my torso. This is like the next one smaller than that. That is a sopranino, and this is a contrabass C. Like a watermelon, this one. So that's kind of cool. And the bigger they are, they're also the more difficult to make, and therefore the more difficult to find and probably more expensive. So that's a sopranino, this is a contrabass C. These are the different parts, the anatomy of the ocarina. So you have the chamber, or the body, that's the entire main part of it. It's usually hollow, that's the only way that it works. On the left side, there's a little bit of dispute of what we call that, what we're gonna call the capello for today. And then on the smaller end, that's the nose, the tip, or the tail. The tone holes are what you actually uncover and cover to change the pitch. So I don't know if you tried it. If you guys can take out your ocarina real quick, I just want you to experiment with something. So I want you to cover all the holes and just blow at the same time. Go for it. Now, as you're blowing, slide your fingers off like this. So this is like this. So the more that you have uncovered, the higher the pitch is going to go. And the holes actually just give you one note at a time if it's tuned correctly. So that's what the tone holes do. You also have two thumb holes in the bottom, which gives you two of the highest pitches. And then sometimes they have sub holes. If you look at the number 2 on the illustration, these usually give you the 2 lowest notes on a 12-hole ocarina. And then on the back, this is the most important part. This is the voicing, and this is what actually produces the sound. So every ocarina can have a completely different shape. I'm just gonna wait for the hardware in the living here. Insane. This is my ocarina band. A septet, like I mentioned at the beginning, is a traditional ocarina ensemble, and the reason that it's 7 ocarinas is because the range of an ocarina is about an octave and a half. Which if we're playing classical music, it's not a great amount of notes to play any piece. So what you saw there, and I'll talk about that in a second more, is a contrabass up to a soprano C. And I have a more westernized version of, well, actually take it back, this is more, we're gonna play something from Zelda, but this is my ocarina septet. Subscribe on YouTube. Okay, we're running out of time. Gotta keep going. So what we're doing is we're playing this setup. This is 7 ocarinas, and then if you've ever Googled ocarinas and like the different sizes and stuff, there's actually multiple classification systems because it's still kind of a folk instrument compared to like the more classical like clarinet or classical flute or anything like that. Thank you. And then this is a Pokeball. This is a Mario mushroom. I'm gonna try to play all the theme songs on that. And this is a Totoro. You have to play this play. How's it go? There you go. All right, so those are all different types of control figures. And what's really cool about this in general is there's so many different shapes that you can make. Like literally, as long as it's a hollow chamber, you can make it look like anything. So if you ever want to try to experiment, the most important thing is that voicing. That's going to take you the most time. All right, so they're easier to make, and the one problem is that they're not very intuitive. So for like the 10-hole ocarina, you just go right to left, from your pinky to your left index finger. But in English pendants, you actually have to learn a cross-finger pattern. If you start on this one, it's way easier to go to the 10-hole, but this one, I love just how compact they are. Okay, this is probably my favorite part of the presentation. This is about the Zelda ocarinas. So, does anybody know what the very first instrument in the Zelda series was? Way in the back.
The whistle?
Yeah, it was like a whistle or actually a recorder. And that was the very first instrument in the first 2 Zelda games. So you have this recorder whistle thing in the Zelda 1 and then Link, Adventures of Link. And then in 1986, which was pretty much right after the first Zelda game came out, so I guess Zelda 2 was still in production, this guy named Soichiro in Japan was hired to record and compose the music for this really famous documentary called The Great Yellow River. And he performed with an ocarina. So the creator of Zelda, Shigeru Miyamoto, was like, I want that. he said it on record that it had a very Zelda-esque sound. And so from that game on, after Zelda 2, every Zelda game, up until, I guess, what was the last one that had an ocarina? Whatever that was an ocarina. So about 5 different games in the franchise. So you have Link's Awakening. Link to the Past. That was this ocarina in the official manual. Then you have Link's Awakening, my very first Zelda game. This is what that ocarina looked like in the official manual. But then we had Ocarina of Time, and for some reason, it turned out like this. Do you see the difference? So that's a 9-hole. That's a 9-hole. And then whatever that is that 7 holes? Yeah, 7 holes. So, and what's really interesting though, is that if you look at the official in-game ocarina, you can see that it has the linear pattern from like this. Like they were taking direct inspiration from these 10-hole ocarinas, and then somehow in marketing, it turned into this funky arrangement. So, what happened? It just doesn't make much sense. And I have a theory of actually what happened. So this was the ocarina in the first 2 games that had it. But then they were trying to figure out like, all right, we have the Nintendo 64 coming out. How do we get people used to that configuration versus like the more traditional 4-hole pattern? So this is what the N64 controller looked like. And you had these buttons here. And look how this one looks. So you have that curve of the start BA and the 4C buttons. They were sneaky, how they actually made it in there. So that configuration is impossible to play. Like if you actually try to play it, it would be like this. So you have 3 finger holes and then 4 finger holes. So you would be like this. It's very uncomfortable. But this maker, Songbird Ocarina, actually figured out, kind of cheating, is that if you just block out these 2 holes, it plays like a 4-hole. So you can do like, and it just uses that cross finger pattern. There's 2 thumb holes on the bottom, and then you could put a sub hole here, like the 12 hole, so you can still get 2 notes down. This is the holy grail, I think, of ocarinas. Like, this is the one that I wanted when I was like 10 years old. So this is available if you want. But that's just a theory. I should have put game theory. Why didn't I put that? All right. Anyway, so that's the complicated history of this one, and it's still available if you want to grab it. Inline ocarinas was the next evolution. They were invented in the 1980s. The only difference between a 12-hole and a 10-hole is instead of playing like this, you're playing like this in front of your face. I have 2 different ones here. This was an aluminum one by a maker called Mountain Ocarina. It's way easier on your wrist. If you're holding this like this, look what's happening to my wrist here. It's got this weird arch in it, and that can get a little bit straining after a while, but this is directly in front of your face, which is so much more comfortable. And they have a similar range to pendants and transverse ocarinas. So there's that. I also have the wooden one here by Kind Ocarinas. This one. So these are inline ocarinas. These are very comfortable. We're almost done this part, guys. We're going to get to the play along road soon. But I just really love the look of it. It's so beautifully designed. And I think I had Is there another one that has like a double or triple? No. Okay, that's fine for now. Well, this was actually also polyphonic, so this is 2 different chambers as well. Okay. Any questions about this part? I'll show this off in a second. Any questions about the different types of ocarinas? No, okay. All right, so now we're gonna get to the actual play along part. So if you're unfamiliar, how many of you got your first ocarina this weekend? Nice, a couple of you. Okay, so what you're gonna discover are these things called like tabs. And the way that you read tabs is that the black holes are the ones that are covered, and the white holes are the ones that you uncover. So if you take your ocarina and you play all the holes covered, that's what that one looks like, all uncovered on the right. So these are the notes of the scale. Let's go ahead and try that together. So you're gonna do all holes closed for the ocarina players. And you're gonna start with your right pinky, then your right ring finger, and then your right middle finger. Let's try it. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. My 4 and 6 hole players. That's at the bottom there. And it's a little bit more confusing. I'll do that one with you too. Can I see this one? Okay, so this one, it's all right hand first. So do, do, do. And then from here, you go from this position to this, this, and this. If you have a 4 hole, play that with me. 1, 2, right hand first. Ready, play. I'll let you look at it for about 5 seconds. Get used to it. Actually, I'm gonna give you like 30 seconds to try it by yourself before we try it as a choir. So just mess around with it for a second. I hear experience over here. Okay, let's try it together. All right, ready? We're gonna go really slow. Ready? 1, 2, 3, play. Nice, that didn't sound too crazy. Okay, let's do one a little bit harder. So this one, the only hard part about this one really is for the 12 hole ocarinas, you're gonna lift your left thumb. And when you get to the top of the scale, on a 12 hole, you actually leave your pinky down. So just watch me for a second. This is the scale. I'm gonna leave my pinky. And that's for balance. So when you get to the very last note, that's when you lift with the pinky. So the pinky always stay down to the very last note. So for this one, the high D, where that red one is, you're just lifting your left thumb. Like that. For my 4 hole, 6 hole players, it's way easier. But on the bottom one, you see the high D is the right thumb. Okay? I'll let you try this by yourself. I'll give you 15 seconds. Like the Zelda was drunk. Okay, let's try it. Ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, play. Very nice. That's not bad. Pretty good. All right, last one. We're gonna try a duet. So I actually need 2 different groups of people. I need volunteers for the main melody. And if you're brave, I want you to take on the harmony part, which is the low part. So how many melodies can we get? Raise your hand. I need at least 5 people. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then one more. Okay, cool. Now I need somebody to take on the low part, at least 5 more people. Anybody? I see one person kind of in the back. You? Okay, cool. So we got two lows and then 4 highs. Let's do one more low part. Anybody want to try it? Okay, cool, awesome. I love your basic green, that's perfect. Okay, we're gonna try this. So let's go very, very slow. It's just serenade of water. So it's the do 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 do. Let me hear the melody, people. Try that one with Roxy. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3, play. Second line. Okay, I'm gonna leave the low people. All right, remind me who that is? Low people. There was one here, and then somebody in the back maybe. All right, let's try it together. Ready? All right, I'm gonna do the 12 ball. Here we go. It's just I'll demonstrate first. Try that part with me. 1, 2, play. One more time. And then the very bottom line. Don't give up on me, Dace. You got this. All right, bottom line. 1, 2, play. Okay, let's attempt this together. Ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 1, ready, play.